Money day, guys and girls. Welcome to this week's Market Outlook with your host, Pastor Pips. And as we always do, make sure to check out the website, www.ligcapital.co.uk. Find out what our students has to say about us. With that being said, make sure you drop a like and let's get straight into it. As we always do, we're going to have a look at the economic calendar. And coming in on Monday, we don't have anything major except for the Bank of England having a holiday, which means that there will be very low volume inside of the pound. Tuesday, we have retail sales for the Aussie, short-term energy outlook for the dollar coming a little bit later. Wednesday, we've got CPI for German, or for the euro, should I say, at 7 a.m. We've got core CPI, CPI year on year, CPI month on month at 1:30. And finally, to finish off Wednesday, we've got crude oil inventories, as we always do. Thursday, we have Bank of England interest rate with, of course, the usual meeting minutes. So it's going to be a huge, huge day for the pound coming in at noon. Initial jobless claims, PPI for the dollar coming out at 1:30, with Governor Bailey speaking a little bit later for the pound. Friday, we've got GDP, quarter, yearly, and monthly GDP data coming out with some manufacturing production and monthly GDP change for the pound, all coming in fast at 7 a.m. So very, very pound heavy week so far with, of course, CPI, which is going to be very, very important for the dollar. So it looks like it is a pound and a dollar focused week. With that being said, let's have a look at the charts. So first things first, when we do have a look at the dollar, let's just have a look at the play and what we've seen happen so far. So, of course, a few weeks ago, or should I say last week, we did, of course, well, a very long time ago, we did, of course, have price pulling into this area. We dropped down, we made a new lower low, right? We accumulated these equal highs, okay? We took out the sell side here, and of course, price then punched above the highs, and now we've started to drop. So, in terms of come market open, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a push up for the week and then a continuation to come down, or we could actually just see this continue lower and create that new lower low before we get a retracement. Nonetheless, I am expecting this daily picture to stretch down lower, see if we can close off the remaining of this imbalance. Of course, the target will be the low of this daily candle, which would be 100.788. Okay, so if we can get down there, that would be ideal. In terms of when we do look at things from an intraday perspective, there isn't anything much as of right now. We've kind of just got to wait and see how the market opens up, and then we can play our cards wisely once we get that information. Cool. Moving on, we're going to have a look at the pound. Okay, so the pound was sitting very, very close to these daily highs. I do want to see them get taken out and wiped before we potentially get a pullback. Of course, the first area that does stand out to me will be this daily candle here. Okay, we do have some imbalances sitting below. So once we do get that spike up, this would be my immediate target. My shorter term target would be the low of this daily candle, and of course the target inside this imbalance. But I want to see if we can actually get prices coming down to this level and see whether we can get a push off or we completely break through it. Then we can potentially use it as a breaker scenario, moving down lower. Of course, it's always dependent on the dollar, seeing whether the dollar wants to remain being bearish or remain being bullish. So as you can see there, these weekly highs / daily highs, I do want to see them get taken. They're a very, very appealing target. So in terms of seeing the dollar continuing to drop, it's definitely aids the pound pushing up higher before we can potentially see some shorts. Next up will be the S&P. Looking at things from the weekly perspective, last week we did have quite a large range in terms of up and down and up and down. You know, we didn't necessarily seem to make up our minds until the last, really the latter stages of the week, shall I say. So, of course, we have price filling out this weekly imbalance completely. Okay, we did, in fact, take out the high of the previous week before we took out the previous week's low. So, with that being said, coming back down to the daily, okay, we can see that we have reacted out of taking out those lows and we are pushing up higher. Now, the first areas that would stand out to me is this daily imbalance. I want to see what price wants to do inside this area. I do want to turn your attention to these weekly highs as well. Let's go back up to the weekly. We still haven't taken out this area. So this could be a very interesting area to see if price can actually get up there and take out this weekly high before we potentially get another pullback. Now, in a scenario where we do actually see the dollar gain strength, which should and will aid us coming down lower, my first instinct will be to look inside this imbalance area, okay? And of course, this daily candle here, see if we can get prices down to this level in order to look for some buys. But I do feel like these highs are very, very appealing. However, it all depends on how the dollar wants to behave this week. Okay, does the dollar want to give us a new low? And are we gonna get a potential lower high and then a low situation? Or are we gonna just continue pushing up higher? Coming down to the intraday picture, there's nothing much that really screams out to me in terms of a setup. However, we could potentially get some pullbacks in terms of coming back down lower to these levels here and looking for some buys out of it. Maybe we pull down and then we can target the highs over here, and of course that weekly high sitting right up top, see what price wants to do once it gets up there. So that is what I'm going to be mainly keeping my eyes out for. With that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, every day is money day. Always remember the theory behind the practice. Peace.